the mindset, that's one part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like the people that are out there that say, hey, we don't really have a lot of technical rescue, we don't have a lot of rescue capability, but we want to create that within our own organization. Not everybody can have everything all at once. So what do you feel like is kind of that natural progression? Rescue One didn't become what it is today. Your rescue didn't become what
Mm-hmm.
it is today. Your team didn't become what it is today overnight. So over
Correct.
decades and centuries, that's what it became. So how do you see that? What advice would you give to somebody who's just starting out, who says, I want to create this within my own organization?
So the first thing I'm going to let whoever's listening and watching know is that I come from a small department where I don't have this multi-million-dollar budget where what Rob wants, Rob gets. So I've been through the growing pains again over the last 22 years, where we started with nothing and we created something and then built on that at the fire department level. So at the fire department level, uh, the most basic initial component for us was targeting our ladder trucks or our quint companies. Yeah, so this insert joke there, right? So these ladder and quint companies, they started carrying equipment different than the engine. So now they started getting lift bags. Then they started getting vehicle stabilization struts. Then they started augmenting their rope cache. So now they're able to carry more rope. Then that turned into, okay, we're going to add a Stokes basket. Okay, now we need to learn how to use a Stokes basket. Okay, let's start using the aerial on the ladder. Let's start using that ladder as a high point change of direction for pickoffs. So now we started getting people off of buildings and elevated platforms in precarious positions and below ground. And all of that slowly, because anything you build slow, it's going to have some duration to it. Anything you create overnight may not be as sustainable and practical as we think. So slowly over time, guys went out through attrition, positions opened up, the right-minded people got into those positions, decision makers changed, needs were evaluated, resources were augmented for our constituents and our citizens and visitors to our region. Members like myself and others that came up with me that were doing this at a different level throughout the country through FEMA, started becoming decision makers and gaining the trust of those who were releasing the funds. And through adding rope bags and adding pickoff stuff and adding struts and adding lift bags to specific vehicles without making them squads, without changing their names, without causing a stir, without creating a need to have special certifications in order to bid those houses or work at those stations, because you don't want to get kickback from the members that have already been there or the future members that want to join that team immediately. So through that slow, methodical approach with finance and duration and sustainability in mind, right at the forefront throughout the entire process, over a decade, we started at my fire department on a non-heavy rescue unit, having rope rescue capabilities, above and below grade capabilities, having high angle rescue capabilities, having heavy extrication capabilities, whether you're dealing with battery units or tethered hydraulic units, different size spreaders and cutters and confined space cutters and paratech struts, you name it. And we added it over the last 2 decades, and that approach that I just mentioned, through education, time, focus on training, focus on not ostracizing anybody, but keeping anybody out of those seats, and actually engaging more members to bring in. Listen, you don't have to be a rope guy to learn this skill. I'll take it to this level for you. From 2013 through 2018, I was a 40-hour guy at my department. I was 9 to 5, take home vehicle, in charge of training, recruit development, so on and so forth. During that period, I started the high angle rescue stuff on 2 of the ladder companies in the agency.
And you have, how many total do you have?
At that time, there was 6.
Okay,
right?
so 2 out of the 6.
Yeah. So we started the rescue, that portion, the rope rescue. If I told you guys that I did not receive flack or kickback from the members that were on those trucks, I'd be lying to you guys. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you because my friends are going to watch this. I sat there and got my butt kicked. So we went as far as, I say we because the training bureau guys, we all got together, like-minded individuals, and we said, how do we bring this to the forefront without making people feel like they're being left out? or they're undertrained, or telling that senior man, listen, dude, you're no longer needed on this truck because this is what we do now. Let this young punk teach you how to do it. That's not the way it went. We brought everyone in and created skills within the guidelines of NFPA that allowed our members to plug and play rope rescue operations. If at any point throughout that operation of a simple pickoff, a simple rope rescue, a simple Stokes basket rescue, they felt uncomfortable, they had the ability to, click the button on the radio and get the heavy rescue out there, get the technical rescue team, get the regional teams involved, or they can finish the skill themselves. And they were fully protected through NFPA, fully protected by general orders, policies, procedures, and guidelines, and they received training in a gradual approach. The approach to roll out this equipment went from equipment intro, sitting behind a desk, watching me talk on a presentation, to let's go outside and touch everything, to this is how we use it, to let's put it together. And we did from the most junior guy to the most senior guy, the entire agency. That took me an entire year to roll out before it ever touched a truck. We created policies, procedures that went through every avenue you can imagine. I say I, but a couple of us developed a colored manual with like a cookbook, or like a recipe. Not A goes to not B. Not B goes to not C. And so on and so forth. And it has pictures and diagrams and positions and YouTube videos. I would take them to a training platform, Target Solutions at the time, and they can watch a video there and watch us build it. And each video was about a 5-minute video of that component only, and move on and move on. And slowly but surely, fast forward now, it's been since 2014 that happened. So a couple years, and man, if I told you that since then we've only done about 3 or 4 actual rescues in that many years, but the guys train on it almost on a daily basis somewhere in the city. And I couldn't be prouder. I wasn't there for not one of those rescues, Dave.
That's fantastic.
All 4 of those, and I was never on duty for one, never responded to one.
I mean, it sucks for you, but
it did. It sucks for me, but I'm like a proud dad.
Yeah.
Because I saw it from its infancy, from begging for money till being put on the road, and people now living long lives and happy lives with their children because they took off a roof with it, and off. So man, it's just a very fulfilling feeling for someone to create something for their organization like that. I was happy to be a part of a team that did that back in 2014. And I want the people listening that do not have those capabilities in their departments to understand that, trust me, if we made it happen, you guys can make it happen. But it's the way that you kind of inject that idea into your administrators and introduce it to the members that's going to either make it be very, very successful or have zero sustainment and fail.